Alright, welcome back. Today we have chassis number 2 for the same person. This is yet another 27-inch Wells Gardner K7500. The neck board wasn't, it was bubble wrapped, but it wasn't taped up, which I don't mind one bit. However, it kind of wobbled around inside the box, and we've got a bunch of loosey-goosey, mainly just this one, broken, well, the pads aren't broken, but it's wobbly-dobbly here. There we go. Wobbly-dobbly, this one too. This one not so much, but yep, so we'll have to do our normal neck board repair. Now we can see this one got much hotter than the last one, so much higher life, much higher usage, and some of the solder is pretty oxidized here. It's hanging on for dear life, what's left there. So all the normal neck board rework will have to be done as well, and I've documented all that on the last video, so I'm not really going to go into too much detail. This one should be much quicker and much faster. This is the one that was, well, there were two of them. One was supposed to be after 5 to 10 minutes it would slowly start to collapse and you'd end up with vertical collapse. That was the last one that ended up being bad caps. So I assume this is the one that was advertised as missing red. So red is the very first one. It's red, green, blue. So with red missing, I gotta suspect that we have an issue with the transistor, because the traces aren't broken. The pads are loose, but the traces aren't broken. The pads aren't broken off the trace. So it looks like someone has replaced this cap. This cap's been replaced, but these 4 have not. These 5 have not. So these original caps, that one's not. It doesn't kind of bode well for us. But anyway, okay, so that's the condition of the neck board. So let's just go ahead and disconnect that. And oh, that's never been off before. First person to take that off was me. And let's open this up. Get this out of here. Okay, neck board's free and clear. We'll set that aside. Now let's get to working on this, and the entire metal frame here is... Oh, I forgot. The description's on the bottom. So let's open this up and take a look at the description. Packing peanuts, I hate you. You're the bane of my existence. I wish they didn't exist. And it looks like someone has already capped this one. So that'll save us some time. It's like an archaeological dig when these packing peanuts are used to ship these things. It's like an archaeological dig trying to get them all and find them all and all that jazz. But okay, well, not every cap was replaced. These 3 are original. That one's original. These are original. It looks like they changed these 3. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one, that one, and this one. So that's original. These are all original. Somebody has done a partial cap kit. The bipolar cap's been replaced. 5010, yeah, 5010. Well, I think what we're going to end up doing is just doing a full complete cap kit, because this apparently is only a partial cap kit. It's very blatantly obvious. So, yeah. Oh man, looks like at some point in the past R402 here has burned up. This probably had collapsed and somebody replaced R402. You can clearly see it. The original one burned up there and someone replaced it. So, alright. That's one issue. Well, maybe not an issue, but that's one thing I've noticed. So we have partial cap kit, R402 burned up in the past. That's about all I see for now. Let's see what this says on the bottom for the description. Okay, will not focus. Has slight curve to image on left side of raster. Will not focus. Well, that could be a bad flyback, and if it is, we're SOL, as they say, because you can't get these right now. So we'll do all of the normal work. We'll do cap kit and reflow and a good inspection, and the neck board rebuild. And oh, wait a minute. C121 is missing. C121 is missing. That's not supposed to be missing. That could be a problem. I noticed that R104 was bent over when I took it out. I bet you might have saw me bend it back a little bit, but this shouldn't be missing. Well, let's do what we did the last time. Let's set our subcontrast to center position. And let's go ahead and set all of our bias pots to 25%. And our drive pots to 50. All right, and let's get this off of the frame so we can take a closer look. What will we find here? Well, somebody has been doing some naughty business here off the flyback, and they've put this jumper across here, so we'll have to take that off and fix it properly. Yep, just like always, we need to reflow our power connectors and our header pins and our neck board connector header pins and our remote board connector header pins, and there's a lot of heat in this area. You can see how discolored this part of the board is for the vertical deflection. And there's normally a lot of heat here, but this is pretty discolored. I can't recall one that was that discolored in this area. Usually it's just here by the transformer. R104, yep, we've got a lifted pad as I suspected. If we look here, you can see that pad moving around, so we'll have to fix that. Well, yeah, I mean, being that this works, I think what we can do is let's hook it all back up and turn it on and verify that we have the slight curve on the left side, and it won't focus. Now, not being able to focus is either a bad flyback or a bent focus pin on the tube or a bad focus socket on the neck, or nope, that solder's good on the connector, on the connection. This didn't say anything about missing red, so I assume we have all of our colors, and that would make sense because our pads aren't broken. They're popped off but not broken. I mean, I need to figure out why C121 is missing. I may need to install one, but I'm half tempted to just go ahead and install it the way that it is, because I mean, obviously it's working without the C121. It's supposed to be there, but it's working without it, I assume. So I want to see what it's doing now, because that way we have a good general idea of how well it's going to work afterwards. So if we see what it's doing now and then we fix it and the problems go away, we know for a fact that we have done our job. So let's go ahead and put this back together and see if we can duplicate the discrepancy. Get rid of this glue. There we go. Okay, so the way it is right now, let's put it back on the. I can't put it on the frame because my tube already has one of these. So let's go ahead and just get the tube back on the bench, get this back on the tube, or get it on the tube, I should say. Let's just see what it's doing the way that it is now, and we can kind of go from there and see if our repairs fix the problem. So let's see what it's doing. All right, change of plans here real quick. This here is the one that I just repaired in the previous video, and as you can see, C121 here is present and functional, as we know from our testing in the last video. So yeah, C121 is absolutely supposed to be here. Why it's missing on here and how it's working without it, I don't know. And so when I say change of plan, I don't want to power this up and possibly cause further damage by not having C121 installed in the circuit. I don't know what would happen if it's not installed in the circuit. So I'm going to get one off of a donor board and put it on here, because I don't want to run this without that C121. So yeah, this is the one from the previous video. We're just going to take this and kind of set this aside. And I'll have to go find a C121 from a donor board or something and get that installed, because I don't want to power it up without that C121 installed. So let me do that. And then when I come back, I'll have C121 installed. It'll be on the tube, and then we can see what it's doing before we start our actual repair work. No, I lied again. I wanted to show this here. I've got a donor K7500, and I just happen to have a C121 right here. So we're going to rob the one from here, install it in here, and then we'll do our testing. I assume this was running with the C121 missing. I don't know how that would really be possible, because it's part of the power regulation circuit and off of the HOT as well. So it affects the HOT functionality. If you have a ticking HOT, it's usually C121 is shorted sometimes. So I have no idea how this is able to operate without a C121. It's very interesting, but I don't want to do any type of testing on a chassis that's not mine or doesn't belong to me. So we're going to go ahead and just install our C121 like we're supposed to, like a good little boy. So okay, back in the hole with you. And let's I don't know why that would be missing. Alright, that is this guy here. And this guy here. I mean, it's possible that the whole problem with this was the missing C121. Okay. Now that that's installed, let's put this back on here. Let's put it on the tube and see what shakes loose. Okay, all hooked up. Anode, neck, yoke, ground, power, video, remote. I am using the test pattern generator here for the quick testing. I mentioned before I like to use real PCBs, but for something quick and easy like this, just to see what it's doing, we'll go ahead and set this to medium and we'll turn it on and use our test pattern generator. This one has a plastic protector, so we'll be able to leave it up here instead of hanging it off the edge of the test bench now. So let's turn it on and see if we can verify the problem on the left side of the screen. And what else was it? It's been a few minutes. Will not focus and slight curve to the left side of the raster. Now that could be caused by bad caps or really anything. It could be our pincushion, or missing the pincushion board here. As you can see, this one has the pincushion board right here. This one is missing it, but the pincushion board being removed should provide a square image. So that could be bad caps. But okay, enough jibber jabber. We're all secure and safe, so let's turn this on. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it does indeed turn on. I don't know what that C121 being out of circuit would have done. We need to adjust H hold. I'm gonna have to get a driver here. H hold is right here. This pot right there. Let's adjust that. Got it. Okay, and contrast is way too high. And it is indeed out of focus. Let's get to... We have all our colors. And yeah, wow, that's pretty bad. Okay, well, let's see if we can... I'm going to turn the focus pot right now. And yep, it focuses, but not quite. That's the best it gets. So unfortunately, it does focus. It does adjust here. There's all the way to the left, and there's all the way to the right, and that's as good as it gets, and that is pretty darn blurry. So unfortunately, we have a bad flyback. Because if we had a bad neck socket, or a bad focus wire, or a bad focus pin, or something like that, it would not, I could not adjust the focus. The focus does adjust, so all that's working. The fact that it gets all blurry like this when it's maxed out means absolutely 100% bad flyback. So there's not going to be much I'm going to be able to do with this one, unfortunately. I don't have any spare flybacks on any dead boards. I mean, you saw that I had this spare board here, but it's been picked clean. No flyback to speak of, so unfortunately, I can do a full rebuild, reflow, cap kit and everything, but the owner of this is going to have to end up, and neck board repair and all that, is going to have to end up replacing the flyback at some point when they come in. But this not being able to focus is absolutely a flyback problem, because everything else is working, because we can adjust it completely blurry to somewhat blurry. It does have the range, which means all the circuitry is working, all of the wiring, all of the components. It's just a faulty inside the flyback is a little resistor, and the resistor is kind of partial to the function of the focus circuit. When that resistor starts to go out of tolerance, this is what happens. You can't adjust the focus properly. But because it does have a range, we know everything's good. It's just the flyback is no good. That's a bummer. But I'm not surprised with the hours that this thing has been running. Clearly it's been running for quite a while. So we can do all the normal work, and I can get it up and running and working, and pretty much bulletproof it like I did this last one here. But the owner's going to have to end up replacing the flyback, because it's definitely the cause of the no focus problem. So, all right, well, it does have some very slight bowing, very slight on this side. This side you can see is bowed in down, or bowed out down here, and then it bows out and goes back in up here. So it does have some pincushion issue, but that could be caps, because like I say, with the pincushion board out, it should have a completely square image. This should only happen if you actually have the pincushion board installed. So I think what we'll do is we'll do all of our normal full complete rework and rebuild, neck board, main board, all that. Then we'll see after that if maybe this situation improves, but if it doesn't, it's a faulty flyback. We'll see if all the rework fixes the pincushion issue. I don't think it will. It might, because only half the caps have been changed. We'll see if the rework fixes the pincushion issue. Maybe helps with the focus, I can't say. But let's do all the work and then hook it back up and see what we get. I'll do all the work and then I'll show everything off. I'll show all the rework. I'll show the neck repair. I'll show the new caps. I'll show the bottom of the board all cleaned up. That jumper on the flyback fixed. Maybe that's the problem. I don't know. So let's do all the rework and then see if that affects this at all, makes it better or worse, and kind of go from there. So through the magic of editing, I'll have, I'm going to cut away. When I come back, I'll have all that work done. I'll show it off, then we'll see what happens. Okay, all the rework has been done. Full cap kit, reflow, inspection, neck board, rework, reflow, inspection. Everything has been done. Full cap kit, all the whole 9 yards, everything that I normally do. So nothing left now but to go ahead and test it and see if it's any better or worse. But you can see here that I have all of the resistors evenly spaced, the transistors all reworked, took them out, cleaned, I took off the old solder, put the transistors back in, reworked them to where they were straight and level and flat, resoldered them in place, made sure that they weren't touching the other components, the smaller transistors here, the resistor and the coils, inductors I should say. Got the caps on there, cleaned it up, did the reflow and the solder rework, and did all of the cleaning on that. After that was done, here is the result of working on these. You can see that that's about as good as I could make it, but all the original solder is gone, new solder is flowed, everything is sitting flat, nothing is bent up or popped up or anything, and they're all nice and secure. They shouldn't go anywhere. That one is a bit loose, but that's as flat as I can make it. I thought it was more secure than that, but I guess not. But anyway, they're all straight now, and they're not all wobbly like they used to be. That's the important part. And of course, you see we have all these at the 25. So we saw that it was operational before. All the rework is now complete. So it's now time to get it reinstalled on the tube and see if we're in any better position than we were, or see if we're in any worse position than we were. So there's an idea of what it looks like on the back, all reflowed and cleaned up. I got that jumper removed and I got the pad scratched away a little bit and just soldered the pin right to there, right to the trace here from the broken pad. Got that done, so everything is ready to go. So let's get it back on the tube and see if our position has improved at all. If not, it's absolutely going to need a new flyback. So gonna cut away, come back, have it on the tube, and see what it looks like. So here we go. Okay, hooked back up once again. Anode, neck, yoke, ground, power, video, and remote. We got our test pattern generator here just for some quick testing, so let's turn that on. Let's make sure I didn't do anything wrong. It at least turns on, and see if our situation has improved if it does turn on. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, turns back on. At least that's good. Nothing has exploded or popped. And nope, we are still way out of focus. Oh, and we're also smaller, probably due to some of the old caps being bad. Let's right about there. But yeah, we are still. I'm just adjusting width here, make sure we have width control. Yeah. It's still way out of focus. Well, neck board repair is successful, still have RGB, but yeah, that's not any better. If I adjust the focus here, you can see that that's all the way to the left. You can't see what's going on there. And as I turn to the right, that's all the way to the right, and it's still very blurry. So, darn it. Well, gonna need a flyback. That's the nature of the beast. Let's do H position here. Let's check our left side. And Yeah, it's still kind of bowed out at the bottom, but like I say, without the Pincushion board plugged in, with the missing Pincushion board, that could be the issue there. So he'll have to, the owner of this will have to acquire himself a Pincushion board, or if he can't find a Pincushion board, he'll have to live with this slight, very slight bowing. But you can always just, if you want to, you know, you can position this thing over and simply adjust your width to roughly like, you know, something like that, then it really isn't that noticeable too much. But yep, that's a Pincushion issue. But we are not improved at all with our situation. At least it's been somewhat bulletproof. The only thing that's going to need once these become available is to replace the flyback, and then it should be 100%. So we'll still call this a successful repair, and the fact that it's now been, well, I use the term bulletproofed, but you know, anything could go wrong. I'm still kind of mystified about C121 being gone and how this worked at all with C121 being missing. But I'm going to call it a successful repair. Just needs a new flyback, and it should be ready to last for many years to come. So I had to break the news to the owner that this is the best it's going to be until he can get a flyback. At least he has number one. Testing number one is good to go. So, yep. That'll be about it for this video. So thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Leave a comment, whatever you want to do. And the next video in the channel, on the channel, will be a complete K7400. I have a friend who has a collection of games here locally, and he has a 2-player NFL Blitz running on standard res selection via the dip switch on a K7400, and the other day he turned it on and the monitor was dead. So he contacted me and said, hey, can you help me out? Can you fix this up? So I said, sure, I'll give it a try. So next video on the channel will be the rebuild and the repair of a K7400. So stay tuned for that. Otherwise, I appreciate it, and we'll see you then.